Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 46 of Quarantine Songs. We've got a pretty exciting couple acts coming up here. This is going to be a fun Friday night. I really appreciate all you guys joining us. First off, we have got The Universe featuring Ray. How's it going, Ray?
Hey, what's up? Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked to be on. That's great.
Nice. How's your Friday been so far?
It's been good. I've been very excited because I've been sitting on this song, My Fragile Mind, for a little while, and I finally got to reveal it to people. And yeah, it's just exciting to put it out to the world.
Nice. Yeah, it's a big day for you. What's the reaction been like so far?
It's been really good. Just I mean, like a lot of the tunes I put out in the past, and I've got a decent little fan base kicking, and I've put out a lot of like pop-ish, acoustic driven tunes like in the past, but this one's like very it's heavier and it's a lot more rocky, and so I think it's a little bit more it's just kind of off the beaten path for the things I've done before. So I think people are like, "Wow, this is pretty cool." So it's nice.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I've got the song here that I'll play for everybody in a bit here, so they can kind of hear what it is we're talking about. But before we do that, can you kind of tell us about the background behind this song? What kind of went into the inspiration for writing it, and where it got from an idea in your head to what it is now?
Totally, I'd love to. So it was inspired. A lot of my songs are inspired by like little tidbits that people say or things that I see, and they kind of, they're little seeds that grow, right? And so with this one in particular, I remember my best friend was saying the one day he was just like, "Whoa, row, row, row your boat." That nursery rhyme is actually super deep. He was like, "Think about it. They're saying, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, merrily, 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 life is but a dream," which is kind of like you got to just go with the flow. And so, we hear these songs when we're young, we don't really realize that like they're actually like words to live by. And so
Yeah.
that planted the seed. And then a lot of the times when I write, it evolves into whatever it is, and I kind of lock in words and stuff. So once I kind of locked that in, I thought, oh, this is cool because my fragile mind is kind of about how if a person who's very sheltered from um, like the harsh reality of life, and how when you actually go out into the world after being sheltered, it's way worse to be sheltered because you actually have to face the reality later than having to deal with it the whole time.
Right.
And it kind of messes you up because you're like so sensitive, and and take things too literal and stuff. So that's kind of how that came together. And I mean, I'm happy because I'm just proud of myself because I wrote I just produced the whole song, wrote the guitar, the bass for it, and I had a percussionist come in. But other than that, I was like put it all together, and yeah.
Nice. Where'd you record this?
It started in my room on my computer, and then I went to a good friend of mine, Ben Sorokas, Spur of the Moment Records, and he kind of helped me boost it to the next level with mixing and percussion and stuff. So that was in Chatham,
Nice. Nice.
Ontario. Yeah.
Cool, cool. Yeah, and you've got a video coming up, but we'll talk about that one in a bit. Yeah, and sorry. So when you said you produced this whole thing yourself, have you done this in past songs, or this is kind of your first dive into doing that?
Well, this new album, several of the songs I did do that with, and some were just produced by other people. But this was one that I really kind of delved into it. I did like more research on how to get the sounds that I wanted. I had a vision, and it started to form, and I took it as far as I could take it, and then I got additional production help and stuff like that.
Nice, nice. And so you've just been teaching yourself how to do all of that?
Yeah, and I've been around like in studios for enough years that I kind of get, you watch enough times, you kind of see how things kind of work, and
Yeah.
so it's once the vision's there, it's really nice because then you know how to make it happen. Whereas there's other songs where I'm like, I like this, but I need someone to kind of help like mold it into something cool.
Right.
This one kind of was there, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a beautiful thing about being a musician in 2020 though, that you can learn these things like between knowing people and meeting people, and then like with Google's help there's a lot of things are accessible.
Big time. Big time. It's cool. There's
Nice.
so many people like willing to like spend so much time like teaching you like through tutorials and stuff like that. And Yeah, but for me, I'm more of a writer, and sometimes I feel like you got to kind of accept what you know you're good at, and so I know deep down that's what I'm good at, and so at
Yeah,
some point I have to kind of like let it go and let somebody else take over, and so it's nice.
nice, cool. Okay, well, I'm gonna play my Fragile Mind for here, everybody, and then we'll jump back in and we can ask some more questions.
Cool.
Before I play the song though, I just want to kind of go over with everybody. So right now we're actually streaming on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitch. If you guys are watching on any of those platforms, you can send in comments. They'll come up on the screen. If you got any questions for Ray or just any comments, please do send those in. We've also got a tip jar set up at www.quarantinesongs.com. 100% of those profits always go to split between the bands. Yeah, and we've got the universe featuring Ray with us right now, in case you're just tuning in, and we've got Chick Casket coming up. We're just about to listen to My Fragile Mind.
No one ever told me life was but a dreamer. Push me overboard at night into the streamer. Merrily, merrily, my heart getting weary. No one ever told me that I need a boat to row. Oh, please don't spare my fragile mind. Love you, spare my fragile mind. No one ever told me life was just a growth. Leave me out in overnight until I'm old. Might I find peace if I turn to east? No one ever told me that would culture me. Oh, please. Oh, please don't spare my fragile mind. Love you, spare my fragile mind. Oh, no. Please don't spare No one ever told me I could click my heels. I exercise my right to disappear. Oh, I don't care. 'Cause mommy and daddy lied, spared my fragile mind. Now the sight of something real seems so severe. Oh dear. Please don't spare my fragile mind. Love you, spare my fragile mind. Oh, no. Please don't spare Move to Spain, change your name. You're on again.
Awesome. Yes, that was My Fragile Mind, the brand new song just dropped today. Yeah, that was awesome. I really love the track. Like it's very unique. It's very rocking. Like it gets the energy going. That's a great Friday night song.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome, man. Yeah.
Cool. And you've got a video coming out on the 20th as well that you make sure to tune in to drop out on the 20th, and you guys will be able to see that there. But do you want to tell us a little bit about that experience and shooting that and kind of what fans can expect from this?
Yeah, for sure. It's a pretty simple video. It's really fun. It's kind of like a visual projection upon my face, and just me basically rocking out. So we just took a lot of shots of the different parts of the song, and it's cool because what I really really liked, I worked with Ed Platero. He's a really great artist, visual artist, and we had a lot of fun, and it was cool because I was thinking, okay, a lot of my songs are very positive, and I'm like rainbow is part of my brand. Rainbows, like I love rainbows, anyways, and as you can tell from my hair, um, but the song's dark, right? So we were like, how do we embody like kind of the darkness plus the light and the brightness at the same time? And he really achieved that. Like there's projections of rainbow from behind, so everything is kind of lined with rainbow, but everything is also very dark. So it's really cool how he achieved that through lighting. It was just kind of like an experiment, right? So it's fun.
Nice, nice. That's cool. Yeah, and like for the visuals that was like going on, like how hard was that to get lined up and figured out with all of that, like projecting it onto you? Was that something that was kind of easy, or was that really difficult to get figured out? Because I assume there's a lot that goes into that very particular piece.
For sure, right? And it was kind of cool because we just kind of winged it. And it's crazy how sometimes when you don't plan, how many cool things can come from that. Because he was basically just throwing random projections on me, and I was just, acting. And some of the timing that ended up coming together was like so cool. How it actually like right at the moment where the music stops, the thing hit my face right at that time, and none of it was really overly planned out. So it was just kind of throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks, and some cool stuff came from it. It was fun. And I mean I love it. I get to sit there and just be crazy in front of a camera. This is like I love nothing more than that. So
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good time.
it is fun, yeah. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, we're that's just came out today, so that's obviously what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what you were doing kind of pre-pandemic and then into the start of this pandemic. Obviously, everybody's music career looks quite a bit different in 2020 than it did in 2019. What were you up to in 2019 though?
Yeah, 2019. That was a yeah, that was last year, wasn't it? Jesus.
There, it
Yeah,
seems like a decade ago already.
I know it's so crazy. It's like this year flew by. Like I don't know if it's I'm getting older or what's going on, but it just flew by. And I mean, for obvious reasons too, right? But 2019 was yeah, like refining this album, getting it done, getting it mixed, figuring out mastering, all that stuff. I did a GoFundMe this year and raised money to put all this out and make it happen. So like thank you to my GoFunders. Like is awesome. But yeah, last year was just completing the album. I've been working on it for a little while, and yeah, refining the little bells and whistles and final touches and stuff, and but also playing shows. And I've always found that for me, playing live has been some of my best. Um, it's the best means of connecting and finding fans and getting exposure. I'm sure like many artists can agree with that. Like the internet, it really can only reach so far. But live, it's great because you can be there in person, you can connect, you can talk, and you can show your whole vibe on stage, and that's a really good place for me. So it has sucked that like all this stuff that's happened and not being able to promote this album, going out live and stuff. I really hope that it settles down and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, what I would do to see some live music.
I
Um,
know.
we did get some comments in here. Sorry, I missed you guys there. Janet's saying that girl can wail. Yeah, an incredible voice for sure. Hey JT, Aaron saying that was a damn good track. Joel saying loves the new single.
Sweet.
And then we got a hello from Italy from Christina.
Oh,
Hey
that's
everybody,
cool.
thanks everybody who's been tuning in. Oh, Sandeep saying echo that. Yeah, it is an incredible track. Like it's like I was saying, it's unique and it's so rocking and like powerful in its own way. Yeah, super cool. I would absolutely love to see one of your live shows once that's a possibility again.
Yeah, that would
Um,
be cool.
what's one of your favorite show memories? We can kind of reminisce on that since we don't actually have shows right now.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea, right? Like, oh, I mean, like, like as an artist, I think like the shows where you know you kicked ass, they're the best, right? You're like, you just leave feeling like yes, because everyone's got the good ones and the bad ones, and the ones where it just didn't, or sound issues, blah blah blah. Anyways, but
Yeah.
my like my big highlight was like I was like 17 and I got to open up for like these huge bands on this big stage because my band won a battle of the bands like before this project. So it was like I think it was like 18 and I was just like thrust on this stage with like 3,000 people and just backstage with like Finger 11 and like the Trues and Thornley and stuff. That was like, I mean, hopefully not a once in a lifetime experience, but at that age it was like insane and really really fun and cool and stuff. So that was one of my favorite shows of all time for sure. It was like I feel like an actual rock star now. But yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty great experience.
Yeah.
Nice. What about what's some venues that you were playing before they all closed down?
Well, I played a lot in London and Windsor. Basically, like between Toronto and Windsor is like kind of my hometown area and the place that
Right.
I play the most. But I really loved playing Bovine Sex Club in Toronto. That place is just beyond wicked.
Yeah.
Great sound, great crowd, cool venue. We had a lot of fun there. And then yeah, like the Fog in Windsor is another great place. I love, love, love to play. And London's got some pretty cool places too. Like I've played the London Music Hall. It's kind of like the big venue in London, and they get really good acts in there. And they always support. They always have local bands support the big acts that come in. So I've been able to do that a couple times, and yeah. So yeah, just good venue, good people, kind of stuff.
Nice. Who are a few other local acts too that you've kind of part of your local scene there? Who you either played
Well,
with or just kind of work with or have any upcoming things with?
totally, totally. Prism Tape Philosophy is a band that I played with in London. They're good friends of mine, and they're actually so cool. They do improv jams. So, and there's like a theremin, and like people wear like masks, and so we go really good together because I make stage props and I've got like weird eyeballs and stuff going on, and it's very like performance artsy performance esque kind of vibe. So we've partnered up a few times and have had really cool shows because basically I start out the show doing my wacky stuff and then they come on and just like you can just trip out and listen to them for hours of them just jamming and everyone's so talented and stuff. They're a really 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 great band. My god, I think so you're asking me this and I'm thinking like it's actually been that long.
Right.
Then I'm like holy smokes. Another band I would plug is like Mirage from London. They're amazing. They're like this two sisters and they play like straight up grunge and their voices are like super deep and they're very very cool. But yeah, I'm sure I'm missing people that I should totally like throw out there. But it's
Yeah,
just
that's kind of an unfair question. It's been a year since you've seen any other band, right? So
it's been so long. It's crazy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's cool. And so yeah, you just got the new music video out today, or single out today. Videos
Mhm.
coming out next week.
Yeah.
What else do you got coming up? What else can fans expect from you?
Well, this is the first single off my upcoming album. It's called Co-Create, and that's going to come out early spring. And what we have planned right now is every month, so like late January, I'm going to come out with my next single. My next single is like a complete what's that word that they use? A complete departure from this first single. Like this is this heavy track. The next one is like a piano ballad. That's like sad. I mean it's not sad but it's like totally different and then the song after that's kind of like a an indie rock song again. So I mean that's what I have planned coming out. The next 3 months will be singles being released followed by videos and then an album in early spring. And I just can't wait to kind of like throw different vibes and energies at people with the stuff that I've created. My favorite thing about music and my favorite artists and what I personally like to do is versatility. Like I love hearing something from a band and then hearing something completely different and then just seeing what they're capable of, like artistically and stuff. So I'm excited to like expose that.
Nice, nice. That's cool. How many tracks are going to be on this new album?
There's gonna be 12 tracks on there.
12 tracks. Okay. So are these gonna go quite different directions?
A hundred
Um,
percent, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
like I've got like a super super poppy song on there. There's like a weird love song. There's a ballad. There's this rock song. There's all just kind of all kinds of flavors, and yeah, just kind of like grungy poppy rock stuff going on.
Nice. Cool. That's
Yeah,
exciting. There'll be a mix of music for everybody then.
definitely. And like to anybody listening, check me out on my social medias and stuff, and follow and check it out so that you can get notified when my new stuff comes out.
Where's the best place for people to find and follow you?
I would say the big ones like Facebook and Instagram are a great way to keep on top of what I have coming out. And then as far as listening to music goes, I always guide people to Bandcamp because it's a really great platform for indie artists to be supported. So you can listen for free, but if you want to, you can always pay what you can and download the track and donate whatever you'd like to do. So I really like Bandcamp as a platform. I'm also on Spotify and YouTube and all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that is Bandcamp's super cool, right? Like Spotify,
Yeah.
if anybody listening right now streams your song, 10,000 times by themselves, you'll still make less than if they send you a couple bucks on Bandcamp. So,
I know, like even like $1 would be isn't that crazy? It's
yeah,
crazy. I mean,
yeah,
at the same time, I love Spotify too. Like it's I use it and I love it, and I so
yeah,
it's a little catch 22, but like yeah.
definitely. Yeah, it's kind of strange times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess, but yeah, but the streaming situation, I feel like I feel like it's probably gonna change soon, and artists will get a little bit more than they're getting right now. It looks like it's getting pushed back. Now they're letting labels kind of pay for placement. What are your thoughts on kind of the streaming music and how things are in 2020 and how this is going to evolve over the next few years?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like I said, like kind of a catch 22 where I feel like you know, I don't like the whole pay to play idea, but there is somewhat of that going on, and there's no guarantees. But I'm torn because I want people to stream me on Spotify, not really for the money, but because I want to be heard. So if I can, aside from like yes, trying to make a living on music,
Yeah,
um, I really just want my music to be heard. So like if I can if people listen to me, put me on playlists that and I just know that people are hearing my words and hearing my message and listening to my music, that makes me so happy. On the side note though, it would be really nice to all the hard work you put into this stuff, all the hard work I've put into it and the money I've spent just to even record and everything and travel or write and it is nice to be able to make like a bit of like some sort of revenue off of it, right? But again, that's why I'm always promoting Bandcamp. I think it's really cool, and I know as a music lover as well that if I really really love something, I will pay like what I can
yeah,
to get something from someone or buy their T-shirt at a show. We don't have shows now, but you know what I mean, like. I think supporting artists is really, really awesome and really important, and I try to do that myself. So
definitely. Yeah, that's kind of what keeps it all running, right? The support of people like yourself, all the people watching, everybody who's like doing those little things is what keeps bands alive and keeps all this music going.
big time, and art is so important. It's like when the whole essential workers thing was happening. It's like
Yeah,
music's not essential, but so it seems, but like in fact, it 100% is. And I mean, everyone can make music themselves, but we get so much joy from the music that we love. Like it is essential. If all of a sudden it was like you can't have music, I think people would go insane quicker than they would about like not
about
having.
Walmart.
Oh, exactly, exactly. Like, oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And yeah, like what is everybody doing every night now, if not watching or listening to entertainment? So,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I think this has hopefully reshaped people's minds of what is essential and what is important. Because I think once the world opens back up, people's love and like respect for live entertainment is going to be a lot higher than it was before this.
Oh my gosh, I know. Like if they just like drop the walls and everyone's allowed to go back to normal, I think I might actually be able to pack a venue.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like it's possible.
That's cool. You're getting a high from Bronwood. Bronwyn. There
I
we
know
go.
her.
Sorry,
This is my friend.
I butchered your name, Bronwyn. I apologize.
It's a unique name. It definitely is.
Nice.
Just call her
Cool. Okay.
Braun.
Bron, nice and easy. Thanks for tuning in, Bron.
Braun.
So somehow we just whipped through a half hour like that. That was a quick
Whoa.
conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I you sent in some behind the scenes from your new video, which I'm gonna show people before we log out here. Oh, Janet's saying it's a B. That's even easier. Said it perfectly. Thank you. I'm glad I didn't butcher it too bad. Yeah, if anybody does have any questions for Ray, this is kind of the time to do it. We're gonna be playing. I'm gonna play your behind the scenes here, and then we'll wrap up quickly, and then we're gonna be bringing on Trick Casket right after this.
Cool.
Cool. So this is some behind the scenes from this new music video coming out on the 20th.
No one ever told me life was but a dream, a dream. Push me overboard at nights into the stream, the stream. Merrily, merrily, I'm getting weary. No one ever told me that I need a boat to row. Please don't spare my friendly mind. Love you, spare my friendly mind. No one ever told me life was just a growth, a growth. Leave me out till overnight until I'm old, I'm old. No one ever told me that would culture me. Oh, please. Oh, please don't spare my friendly.
Oh my
I
god.
got.
Oh my
I
god.
love the background.
I have to say something about that. So my amazing manager, his name is Marwan.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's filming this, and do you hear him?
Oh man, he is so hyped for this. That is exactly how you want your manager to be.
He's literally the best. This guy he is the shit, and the whole time he's like singing this. Like he was so excited he almost got in front of the camera and like got the scene. He was just like so into it. So shout out to Marwan because he kicked ass and he got really good footage. So
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for taking that and sending the BTS there.
Yeah, for sure.
Shayna's saying this guy's hair is epic. I don't know whose is better. I don't got the rainbows in mind, so she's definitely winning.
Oh, yours is amazing. I think this is the first thing I said to you. I was like, dude, your hair is wicked. It really is.
Yeah, we can skip the hellos.
How do you not have dreadlocks? Like, my goodness.
It sometimes tries to dread itself every once in a while. I definitely, yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Take care of that one, yeah. Joel's asking if you're coming out with any new music, which you are coming out with new music.
Yes.
That's early or sometime in spring, right?
Aside from today, but then in the spring, 12 tracks, baby. Yeah.
Lots of new music.
Yeah.
Ray's Do is pretty epic. Definitely is. That's cool. Okay. So yeah, that was the preview of the new song coming out. I'm gonna wrap things up here. We're gonna be talking to Trick Cask in just a few minutes. Do you have any last messages? Kind of if you want to talk about things coming out, remind people when your video's coming out, where to find that. As well, just kind of any last messages during these crazy ass times for all the people watching.
Awesome. Yeah, I was thinking that it's like, my goodness, everything is what it is, I suppose, and the good and the bad are coming and the ugly with everything. But But yeah, try to love yourself, number one, as best you can. It can be a struggle sometimes. And aside from that, my music is available on all of the platforms. Choose what one you like. If you like to support indie artists, go to Bandcamp. I'm on there, The Universe featuring Ray. And even just like shares and subscribing is a great way that if you can't afford it or it's not something you want to spend money on, then totally just like and share because that's really, really amazing and supportive to be able to do. And what was the last thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, December 20th is my music video premiere. So follow me, tune in, and you can see what will come from those behind the scenes. And also thank you so much, Jesse. Really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me and listen to my tune and enjoy it and stuff.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on. I'm really I'm really digging the music. I can't wait for this new video to drop, and we'll be in touch. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man, totally. Thank you.
Cool. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you. Cool. So that was the universe featuring Ray. That was that was super cool. I recently discovered her music when she sent it in. I'm a huge fan. You guys should definitely go follow her. Yeah, Wesley's just saying this girl inspires people, which I can definitely see that just from seeing the short amount that I have. So we got Trick Casket coming in next here. I'm gonna bring these guys in. Connor, how's it going, Connor?
Hello. How are you?
Nice. I'm good. I'm good. And we got Nick and Ryan. We got a full house down here today. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Nice. Cool. How's your guys' Friday been? It's the start of the weekend. I appreciate you guys coming on here to kick off my weekend.
It's been a lazy Friday for me. I'm disappointed because Cyberpunk isn't working as well as it should, but hey, here we are.
And I got a package from home, like back in Ireland, and it arrived, and like it had been opened by the postmaster, but he left like his multi-tool in the package when he said, "Well, clearly he just been root through it," but it's like, it's mine now, so fuck him.
That's good. You got an extra multi-tool in your
multi-tool. Yeah.
That's the only multi-tool I've ever seen with a brush.
Apparently, it's something to do with golf, but I don't know. I don't play golf. Got drunk at a lot of golf courses, but that's about it.
If you ever take it up, you're set. Nice. Wesley's saying Cyberpunk is dope.
Yeah, it is. I just wish it would fucking work. Oh, am I allowed to play here?
Well, so I've heard, right?
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of children out here, so you're okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Ray's saying 6 studio. Yeah, that's probably for you, Nick. You're just you're at a home studio right now.
Yeah, this is my desk.
Nice. Yeah, it looks up.
I've never thought of it as a home studio, but I guess, yeah.
Well, when you can see that section of it, it very much does look like you're in like.
Actually, yeah, it looks really impressive just here, but if the rest of the room was visible, it's just.
We didn't need to tell anybody.
Me, so I can't really show that.
Nice. Yeah, you just did another live stream yesterday, Connor.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that? I tuned in. That was something new for me, and totally, it was so much fun. It was great to watch. Do you kind of want to talk about that show and her series there?
Sure. That was a friend of mine named Kate Muir. She's a fashion designer, and now since COVID happened, she's a Twitch streamer where she just DJs on Twitch like 2-3 times a week, and she just invited me to do a episode of Day Drunk. And so we just went there. I just went over to her home studio and just played some tunes, drank some really questionable red velvet flavored Baileys that was thought would be a lot better than it was, but it turned out just tasted like chemicals and sadness. And it was aside from that, it was great.
Yeah, it was a disappointing few days with the Baileys and Cyberpunk and just the whole 2020 really actually.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for everybody.
That live stream was actually like so much fun. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
That was funny. Yeah, you guys are playing the music, and I could see the two of you back there just like, killing yourselves. And I'm like, what the hell are they saying back there? Like,
yeah, we gotten so many comments that people were just like, we need subtitles at least.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, let's talk about your guys' music. You released a new album this year. You did it in a unique way. Super. If you're into heavy stuff, this is an incredible album. Yeah, yeah. Do you guys want to tell us about that?
Sure.
Well, we had the album. We had a different album completely ready to go. Not ready to go. We were like 80% finished with it, but we needed to do a bit more tracking, and our plan was to release that in June. And unfortunately, all the studios shut down in March, so we weren't able to go in and finish off the tracking we needed for some of the kind of vocals and live drums and live guitar and stuff like that. So we were kind of pretty much hamstrung, and the only thing we could really do was to try and the only thing we could make was electronic music. So we just kind of focused on predominantly just using what we had kicking about for other stuff and stuff we could make 100%. So we kind of tried to focus on using a lot of older equipment, kind of stuff like the like VSDs of stuff like the Fairlight and the Juno 106, or Jupiter 8, the kind of Roland synthesizers and that kind of stuff. I kind of focus on doing that and then building it up with kind of classic drum machines, and then we put in a bit of live drums, what we could get recorded, and then we put that out. So I mean, we have that went out there. We just wanted to make sure we got something out this year, you know.
Nice, nice.
It was more of like a yeah. We just wanted to get something out because we're kind of like on pause because the whole COVID thing kind of ruined our tracking progress for the other album that we have.
Yeah.
So instead of just kind of sitting around like twiddling our thumbs, we're like, well, why don't we just make something? Just build like I had a giant contraption here, it's like analog synthesizers connected to like a bunch of guitar pedals, and then just kind of like hit play and prayed for the best. Because a lot of that EP was just like one, maybe two takes at most, and then we're like, that's what it is. Like that was like
Well,
the
we're
challenge.
really happy with
That was the
we're
challenge.
really happy with the response to it as well, though, in that regards, because there was a lot of stuff that we were like, no, this is pretty experimental. It's kind of, you know, I think if it had been something, if we'd been able to release the other album, which is, I don't want to say commercial, it's a lot more kind of, the songs are a lot more kind of structured, and they've got a kind of heavier element to them in terms of it being a song and there's being traditional instruments and stuff. But I don't think we would have necessarily pushed this EP out or this album out now. But I think because of COVID, we were kind of, our hand was forced a bit on that. And there's been a really good response to it, which has been great. So kind of gives us a push to kind of try and be maybe a bit more experimental and kind of revisit the album. And, you know, we'll kind of get to the tracking level again, and then COVID 20 will come out, and you know, we'll have to push it again. So,
oh man, yeah,
That was really
yeah.
great for it, yeah, for that album for sure.
Nice. Yeah, we'll get a whole bunch of these depending on how many COVIDs we get. I want to say hey to Barry and give my little spiel here again for anybody who is just tuning in. So we're live here with Casket. We're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. If you guys are watching on any of those, you can send in comments and we'll get them up on the screen. If you guys have any questions for any of these guys, feel free to ask them. And we also have a tip jar set up at www.quarantinesongs.com. 100% of those profits always get split between the bands. So if you can donate anything, please do. And that's my spiel. Please do.
Oh my God, please do.
But yeah, no, this last album was super cool. Like it was experimental and raw. But it was, I feel like it was very unique for that reason. Like there's not a lot of albums that I can really say this sounds like that, because this was so kind of raw and so just you guys. How was that process of going through and like writing the songs and just doing it like that? Like, did you feel like that was I'm not gonna say better in any way, but almost a truer form of like what came out right away? Having the less polished songs there.
Yeah, because like something that I do in the music process is I like to write a bunch of shit and kind of condense it down, and over the course of like maybe 6 months to a year, be sitting on these songs, just kind of finalizing them. And this EP was purposely to like try to avoid that. We just wanted to like get out any sort of raw frustration, aggression, anxiety that we had in like at the moment, and then if it came out that way, like don't change it, because why go back and ruin the kind of vibe that we're going for potentially.
Yeah,
it was a learning experience for sure in terms of like the creative process between the three of us. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the dynamic really shifted when you take everything offline, and we were very limited in what we could do in person. So
Yeah, we all have
had a
completely
huge
different
role. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the crazy part about 2020 and like bands like you guys who are figuring out how to do this. Because there's obviously ways of doing it, but it's not ways that we would have ever thought to do things before. Like aside from just recording, what are some other things that you guys are doing and ways that you've adapted to keep the music moving through this pandemic?
One thing that's actually a big source of influence is I've been playing so much Doom Eternal that it's insane. So just the visual elements and like that kind of vibe, I'm like, oh yeah.
And I've been practicing my instrument, you know. It's fine.
We're all playing video games. Nick's playing his guitar.
Video games.
I've learned a second chord, so I'm actually pretty happy. It's been a productive year.
That's awesome.
Video
You
games.
guys-
Baz is asking if you guys got any vinyl out of any type?
No vinyl, no like real physical music at all right now. That's actually something I actually put out a message on Facebook, both on like the Trick Casket page and my personal page. I'm like, do people still kind of consume physical music of some sort? And I got like an astounding like, yes, make vinyl. So I guess
Nice.
we're gonna be making vinyl hopefully soon, probably in the new year. Planning it now, probably getting it done by January, probably be out by early February.
That was a good question, Barry. It's like you were like lining them up for this plug of the new vinyl coming out.
We paid him.
Yeah, he said when you have one, he's buying one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, what are your guys' kind of thoughts on physical music? Do you guys personally, listen to or buy CDs and vinyls and that kind of stuff? Do you guys see much of a market for it at all?
I actually really enjoy kind of slowly collecting vinyl, which I didn't think I would be. Like if you asked me that a year and a half ago, I would have been like, nah, it's all digital. But no, now that I actually have like some sort of physical thing to hold, I'm like, oh yeah, this feels nice.
But you sound so lonely. 2020 hit you hard, eh? I'll still buy. I don't have a record player, but I will still buy vinyl if I'm at a show because it's a really good way to actually support a band. And I'll leave it on my friend's house who has vinyl and I'll listen to one on there. But it's for me, it's that thing of like when I was younger. Show my age now. I'm 73. We used to go and get the wax cylinders and just bring them home, But it was but going through like the record store and flipping through stuff and getting the record and bringing it home and like reading the liner notes and all that kind of stuff was a really great experience that I feel was lost for a long time there with the advent of like just MP3s and stuff like Spotify and that kind of thing. But it's I feel that the people who are purchasing albums that are physical thing now are doing it because they want that experience. They want a physical thing that they can bring home and be like, I have supported the band. I am now like, look at this. You know what I mean? And my hearing's blown to shit. So, like, there's no point in me listening to, like, special vinyl or anything like that. Because it all just sounds... Anyway, so...
I have something to add to that. So going back to, like, musical directions and all that. Every time Nick would send me a mix, since his hearing is kind of blown out on one side, all the mixes would be, like, the left channel will be up here and the right channel will be down here. And I have to go in and, like, put it in mono and then duplicate it again. It was just like such a headache. I'm like, just stop mixing. Stop.
You would just think that your headphones are busted and you're just like, Nick, what's going on?
Nick buys like 7 pairs of headphones in like a month and he's like, none of these headphones work. I'm like, it's because your eardrum's fucking blown, Nick.
It's the opposite way. One of my hearing's fine and your hearing is like, if mine's not like this, but yours is like this. So when you get mine, it's not true. My hearing's fine.
He's like, I can't even back that one up.
That's why we put him on one side of the stage.
Yeah, the side of me that's deaf goes towards the drums, so I'm safe.
Speaking of the stage, I know you guys had shows lined up friggin' 1 a month for the next 2 years, but I'm trying to turn this into a more positive note. Like that's a bummer, everybody missed a bunch of shows, but yeah, I know you guys did a shitload of work getting the live stuff sorted out. But have you
Yeah,
guys been putting more thought into like kind of your live show and working on that kind of stuff? And like what can people expect when you guys do return to the stage, hopefully next year?
I've had some thought into it, not really a whole lot. But we like I've talked to some friends of mine and some friends of friends, and we kind of locked down like a lighting engineer and like a distributor for like more kind of like stage props or like some fancy flags or some sort of like aesthetic appeal instead of just like a band on the stage. Because I'm a huge fan of theatrics, so I kind of want to start building that, but just kind of like light talks about it right now. Haven't really dived farther into that because COVID. You never really know when
Yeah,
anything's
who
going
knows
back.
when shows will even be here again, right?
gotta get that custom microphone stands definitely on the cards. We gotta build that. That's gonna be cool. I think probably just work on the stage show because I mean like I think the fact that there's only 3 of us on stage, it's we move around a lot. Not Ryan because he's behind the drum kit, but myself and Connor will move around. But it's still a lot of space to fill up visually. So having kind of props on stage and stuff like that would be better. We're not Aerosmith, so we can't have like blow up dolls and shit. So we got actually go up and do stuff.
I just
Maybe
picture
skeletons.
Ryan shit on wheels.
That'd be cool.
Motorized
I
wheels.
barely even moved
You
my
guys
arm.
are gonna get them spinning upside down, right?
Get on a fucking roller coaster, just go around.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I did get a new drum kit this year. I know it was poor timing, but we were expecting some shows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
expect
What
a new
kind,
drum
what kind
kit.
of kit did you get?
That's
Yeah, we had
it's
like booked pretty
pipe.
much like every week for the whole year and into like next year, and they were obviously not all cancelled. But then I was like sitting there the other day and I was going over like the schedule, just sitting here, and I was like, maybe I'll contact these venues and just kind of see like, just kind of put in like, hey, when you guys are back up and running, we'd love to put on a show. And I was going through it, it's like venues closed forever, heartbreaking,
Oh man, it is heartbreaking. Like there's so many, like especially in Toronto. Actually, I shouldn't say especially. I have no
Yeah.
idea what's going on in other places, but like to see the amount of bars that like I loved and that are not going to be coming back. And then
Yeah.
on
Yes.
top of that, the amount of bars that like I'd been to 1 or 2 times and like, but would have been cool venue otherwise. But now they're so many leaving. Let's
Well, like a universe featuring Ray was saying there, like, I mean, one of the best places to play in the city is Bovine Sex Club, and like, luckily they seem to have they've survived this, and Cherry Colas has as well. Hard Luck, there's a lot of other venues that have been very quiet, so I haven't heard if they're still there or they're broken down or they're gone or what. So
yeah.
I mean, the thing about it is it's quite exciting though, because there's an awful lot of fully functional bar venues that are closing down. That everything's closing down in the city, so rents on commercial places and venues and that kind of stuff are all going to go down. And it might not be immediate next year, but within the next 2 years, you're probably going to see an awful lot of new venues opening up under new management, and it's going to be quite exciting. And there's going to be a rush to try and kind of create spaces for artists to perform. Because the thing is, everyone's going to want to go out to shows. And if everyone wants to go out and like experience life and see humans again, they're going to want to go out, and there's only going to be like 6 venues open, and they're not going to be able to fulfill the need there in terms of being able to put on shows. So you're going to have other venues opening back up.
Nice. That is
So
that is a super optimistic answer to the future. That's,
Yeah, I'm trying not to kill myself, so I'll be coming up with this thing all day. It's working on.
Well, you're helping me too over here, so I appreciate that answer. Sorry. Good Talk Radio said, so you folks have been getting shows canceled a lot due to CV coronavirus. Yeah, that's here in Ontario. Or I guess maybe not all of Ontario, but all of Toronto. Every bar is closed for now. So
we had a full year booked, 2 shows a month.
Festival as well.
Yeah, festival. That one hurt.
Oh yeah, that was gonna be super cool too. I remember we were talking about that.
There's also a festival in Germany we're supposed to be playing next year, and we can't get. They're obviously not going to confirm anything because they're like, well, if we're not going to confirm anything, because people are going to make plans and book stuff, and Nova's going to open so much stuff, and also like so many support slots and stuff like that we had lined up that just went completely down the drain.
Yeah.
We're trying to make our way over to Germany for next year, but I don't know if I doubt that's going to happen. So that one
Yeah.
hurt even
Oh
more.
no, not this
Yeah.
one.
I was supposed to be there this year. This was my first time going to Europe, and that was a pretty crushing part of 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is why you don't get excited about things, right? Well,
No,
I
never
was
again.
supposed to learn that from
Never
a younger age.
Just don't get excited about things. You'll be just fine.
Yeah, right. You can't be disappointed. Don't get excited. What's Wesley saying? Wesley saying the cyberpunk world of Matrix woke up a lot of people. Maybe this is the chance for cyberpunk. Make enough noise to wake some more. Think you have something relevant to say.
The
Well,
Matrix.
because all like cyberpunk, and it's just just glitch music, an ode to the game, sort of Matrix kind of vibe. I've done Connor. You played the game. What's the soundtrack like?
The soundtrack of Cyberpunk is actually phenomenal. I love it.
Nice.
I just wish I could play it and it worked. It was going so well for like a little bit, and then the more I played, the more it started to you could see it start to degrade and corrode. I'm like, what? No.
Is that a issue they had on all the platforms, or that's like an Xbox thing?
Just on the initial Xbox One and PS4, all the new systems work perfectly.
Of course.
So I'm like, were they
Of course, yeah.
on purpose? Just trying to get people to buy all the new consoles. Here's Cyberpunk. Psych.
Yeah. Mailbox destroyers are saying the mailbox destroyers rock. I don't know the mailbox destroyers, but I'm gonna have to.
Is that like a band or a movement or a cult? Or...
either way.
Or plans for tomorrow night.
Gotta go. Glad you. Well, thanks for tuning in. Good Talk Radio Station.
Hey, there you go.
Nice. What's he saying? The movie The Matrix.
What about it?
Yeah.
It is a movie.
We'll elaborate. Yeah, maybe clarify that one a little there, Wesley. We'll dive.
What was that kind of like?
some
Hang on, The Matrix is a movie? I thought it was like a documentary.
It's a way of life.
It's what we're living in right now. It's an illusion. We're in a simulation.
Oh, what a shitty simulation! Oh, maybe this is like again. So they have to shut down the world to save RAM. That's why we're all stuck indoors with just the one level loaded.
Oh my god, that is. I have not heard that one for this yet, but that.
The simulation
Next
theory.
album will be a concept album based around that.
They got to recharge. They got to recharge the birds at some point, right?
How long does it take to change the batteries in a couple of million birds? This is dragging on.
Can I revert to last checkpoint?
Okay, so he's saying, not Cyberpunk the game, Cyberpunk music in the Matrix. Okay.
Oh, right.
Revisit the first thing, the Cyberpunk world. Yeah, so we were talking about Cyberpunk the game earlier, which this is the confusion here. Okay, the Cyberpunk music world of the Matrix woke up a lot of people. Maybe this is the chance for Cyberpunk. Make enough noise to wake some more. Think you have something relevant to say?
Absolutely, because if you look at an awful lot of the cyberpunk that would have been around in terms of the Matrix, which was around the 80s, you've got kind of two different strains of it in terms of, if you look at the science fiction history of cyberpunk, which would be like William Gibson and Neuromancer or that kind of world, and then you look at, that would have come around in the 80s, and you also had an awful lot of industrial bands, which is kind of music we play, coming out in the 80s, and you went off in two different strains. So you had that experimental kind of approach to music, which was kind of, William Burroughs, kind of Brian John influenced, where they were approaching it in terms of let's cut up and mash up and experiment and just make something crazy, which was the original industrial, and which was also a huge influence on cyberpunk. You have William Burroughs wrote some stuff that wound up influencing William Gibson to a degree and stuff like that. So that kind of led into the basically what I mean is that industrial and cyberpunk would have come from the same literary origins. And if you look at it the way in the 90s, you had cyberpunk kind of went and peaked with a lot of stuff where you had the Matrix, and it was this big science fiction movie which introduced an awful lot of people to that world. And the music that was coming out around that same time was very much so involving industrial music. Had moved away from being industrial music, which was originally people recording the sound of metal hitting off stuff and the sounds of an actual industrial factory and making it into music. Whereas by the mid-90s, it had turned into kind of essentially dance music, or you had heavy guitar riffs over electronica, which was a kind of variation. And for the longest time, that seemed to kind of prevail as being the main kind of thing, with an awful lot of electronic metal music and stuff like that. And I feel that at the moment, there's a couple of bands that are really exciting. There's Uniform, Hyde, which is Three Teeth, Youth Code, and they're all very exciting because they're kind of approaching industrial music with a more of the attitude of the original style of those particular artists and that kind of ethos of the original people who were creating this, as opposed to kind of making dance music for goths. You know what I mean? They're making kind of heavy, oppressive, industrial soundscapes with lyrics that are a lot more to do with kind of an updated approach to kind of saying, like, here is how it feels living in the actual future. You know what I mean? Like, we are in the future that William Gibson would have been writing about.
Yeah.
And for us, it's that kind of thing. I feel that, like, with a lot of our lyrics, I mean, it's Connor writes all the lyrics, and they're very much, they revolve around the kind of themes of, like, kind of the oppressive mindset of living in modern day life and that kind of stuff. And I feel that we have something to say in terms of, we have something new to bring by being kind of, we have something new to say by ripping off older bands. And we have, I think what we're coming out with kind of what we're trying to do is, we feel it's the soundtrack to being really sad in the future.
Nice. That was such an in-depth answer, Nick. Thanks for that question, Wesley. You paid Wesley for that question. Nick's been researching this for the last month.
Little do you know, Nick forgot what the question was halfway through and just kept talking.
I just kept going, you know what I mean?
Awesome. But yeah, no, thank you for the question, Wesley. That was good. We just misinterpreted the first time. Cool. Yeah, and yeah, do you kind of want to talk about what goes into writing the lyrics for the Trick Casket music, Connor?
Okay. Well, lyrics kind of take me a while. I can sit down and write lyrics like in a notebook or something, and like make like an afternoon of it, but they're never anything that really sticks in my brain as like, oh, that's what I wanted to say. It's kind of just like, they're just lyrics for the sake of being lyrics. But if I go for like a walk or something, or I'm on a bus, or I'm like walking through like a park, sometimes a random phrase or a random line will just like pop into my head, and I'm like, oh, that's great. I'll write it down on my phone and write them in a book later. So it's like, writing lyrics is kind of a pain, but also fulfilling, because writing lyrics that really means something to me kind of takes a while, and then I'd kind of have to like be just going through life, and then suddenly something will just kind of happen. So when it comes to like writing music, is like half the challenge, and then the other challenge is writing lyrics and writing melody to the lyrics, because those are two things that I definitely can't rush, otherwise it's going to be shit. So I have to, like, that kind of thing, I really have to take my time. And the kind of a cliche artist thing to say that some subject matter that's a little darker than others kind of does take a toll on your mental health, because you have to dive in and go back to what you're doing, what you're experiencing, how you're feeling at that point in time in your life. So it takes a while, and it takes a toll. And if it's taking a while and taking a toll, you're just kind of trudging through mud at the end of like an album cycle. So at the very end of like finishing a piece of art, you're just kind of, I don't want to write anymore for at least a few months.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's it definitely takes its own toll for sure. Can you guys talk a little bit about, well, I guess the scene's not quite there anymore, but just kind of about your own like local music scene, some of the bands that you played with, and kind of, or maybe had plans to be playing with this year, or just any kind of local bands that you guys want to shout out.
Yeah.
Hot Lips for sure. Hot Lips are cool.
Hot Lips
they've got some new music coming out that's going to be amazing. Dynamic One, Claire's always been super supportive of us. She's hopefully going to be doing something with us on the next album. Who else is there? It's been so long since I've seen people.
Yeah, that's true. I've been listening to this band called the Data Bats. We played with them at Bovine Sex Club a little bit over a year ago, and like that shit is just so like relaxing. That music is just so chill and so vibey that I could just like sit down and like read one of my books and have one of their albums like
Didn't
off in the
didn't
background.
didn't the bovine give them literally 2 bar stools to set up on?
Yeah. Yeah, the stage
And no
of the
table
Bovine-
or anything. It's just like a bar stool.
stage of the Bovine is rather small. So by the time it's like the headliner was set up and then we were set up, they didn't really have much room, so the bar could only offer them like bar stools to set like their synths and like their
Yeah.
Wow.
components for the show. And I felt so bad. I was like, oh man, poor
Yeah.
guys.
But
There's
they pulled
also
it
a
off.
40 Octaves
Yeah.
Below. 40 Octaves Below is pretty cool. Pretty much anything. There's a little indie label that's kind of picking up right now, and they're kind of cool, which is Bugs Crawling Out of People. And anything that he's put out so far has been pretty awesome as well. It's nice and underground, noisy, unpleasant to listen to kind of stuff, which is cool.
And like yeah, some other bands like Phantom High or Bad Waitress is another really cool like all girl punk band. Yeah, I'm like, I feel like I'm forgetting someone, but I had
8,000 bands. I'm gonna like
yeah. There's always too many to name. Yeah, you guys were just talking about the the stools at the Bovine. Can you share some more live music memories with us? Some of your best, or maybe some of your craziest or weirdest moments from back when live music was still a thing.
I can share one of like the really bad ones.
Okay.
Not bad, like the bands are bad. It's just like the situation we were all in. We were strapped for time. Sound check was pretty much non-existent, and I got electrocuted on stage by touching a light fixture that wasn't grounded. So it's like mid-song, I just kind of like skipped a whole like vowel or two, and then I kind of had to shake it off and keep going.
Yeah.
That one sucked.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
the time that you
at least
tripped.
you'll be expecting it next time, right?
Yeah, and like nothing was coming out of the monitors.
I think
Oh,
my
was,
guitar.
was this the hard luck? Oh,
Yeah,
I
it
shouldn't
was.
shout out names with that. You know what? Never mind. This was some random bar. Who knows?
And Ryan's like the samples like just kind of dropped out for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one funny thing that happened at that show, is that my guitar, the amp started freaking out and making this crazy screeching noise. I wasn't able to fix it on stage immediately. And afterwards, a guy came up to me who was like, Eric from Scrape, there's another band. Yeah.
Great.
Eric was like, I like that song. It's the song where it's got that thing. I was like, it's just the amp was broken. It wasn't actually us.
covers up a lot of mistakes.
Best thing about being an industrial band, mistakes can still sound like you mean it on purpose.
And I'm glad that we're a small band because a lot of the venues are very limited in floor space.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
And one of the best shows was actually with the Data Bats. We were playing a show with them. We're opening up for another band called Stoneburner. And that was just like, it was just one of those shows where it's like everything just worked. Everyone was in such a good mindset. Everyone was just having a good time. And then when we got on stage, you can just kind of let loose, have fun. And then at the very end of it, it's like one of those things where you like go out for a smoke or something after you're just done playing, and then you kind of just have that feeling. You're just like, fucking yeah.
Yeah. That indescribable feeling that artists get.
Yeah, it's like you're just riding on endorphins, and then you're just like, I need at least 4 more drinks.
Yep. You gotta finish up with that. Wesley said it's so cool to hear people making so much sense of it all.
Hey.
Nice. There you go. Yeah, if people do want to follow your music, what's the best place? Where are you guys most active?
I would say Facebook and Instagram for sure, if you want to kind of keep up with like kind of day to day like what we're doing. And if you want to listen to music, I try to keep steering people towards Bandcamp, because Spotify, it's like, you can 1,000 people could listen to your song twice on Spotify, or one person can pay $2 on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
And monetary gain.
It circles back to that physical appreciation, right? Like it's owning something as opposed to renting. And like anytime I'm at a show, I definitely try to buy a vinyl as opposed to a t-shirt. Like at least with the vinyl, I can get them, to sign it, and it stays in relatively good shape. and I can listen to it and I own it.
Yeah.
Right. So
we were going to try and start a Patreon, but that's a bit old school. So we might go for OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Nick, is that hat left over?
Only bands.
OnlyFans, yeah.
Is that hat left over from your shoot earlier this afternoon, Nick?
Shoot this afternoon. What did I do?
Your OnlyFans shoot?
No. I was wearing something much more. These are Dollarama though. People joked with these black rimmed Santa hats.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's the place.
Dollarama coming through it this year.
Yeah, it's Christmas is like 2 weeks away at this point. Which is,
I don't want to hear
man,
crazy.
What a year it's been. Like I feel like, you know, since this pandemic started, it's been like 3 or 4 months. But realistically, it's been about 9. So
it's a fever dream. For sure.
It feels like January feels like it was like 3 weeks ago and 3 years ago at the same time. It's really also the concept.
Just all feels like a bad hangover that started in March.
It's like Ryan messaged me on going like, "What's the plan for tonight?" I was like, "What do you mean? It's Wednesday."
What's tonight?
Today's Friday. Since fucking when?
Wednesday in July. It's months till that interview.
Man, and you had an especially crazy 2020, Connor. You could tell me we can to fuck off, and we can not talk about this if you want. But you had quite the situation very recently.
Like
where you were attacked, and
I won't go into detail, but I caught some pervert looking into my roommate's window in the middle of the night. So I called him out, and then a scuffle ensued, and he stabbed me right in the ribs. So I'm still healing from it. It's not. I'm like 80% of the way there, I guess. But I mean, that was 2 months ago, almost to the day. So it's
That is the craziest thing. Like when I first read that had happened, I was like, "This isn't real. Like that's something you see in like a movie or like a TV show. Like that is, that is
nuts.
Did they ever catch this guy?
I have no idea. I've got no updates.
No, I'm still free.
Next time,
I'll get you next time, Connor.
See, I hired Nick, and Nick went undercover.
It's
the only way to fund an album these days is to GoFundMe for someone. So figured,
Nick, I swear, like there's a conspiracy. Nick and Ryan have this big plan to eventually just wipe me out in some sort of way, so that they can make another band called Nick Casket.
That's the plan. It's not a conspiracy, really.
It's out there. Yeah, like if they ever start asking you just for like a bunch of pre-recorded vocals, you definitely know they're getting close.
Hey, can you sing all these songs and send them over in a bulk folder?
We're going to you. Just record you for days and days, and then just edit it into like 23 albums.
Yeah. Well, we know what happened to Connor if he ever goes missing.
Yeah.
Cool. So what are you guys working on next? What's, I guess, like the future is pretty hard to predict at this point, but what's coming next for you, hopefully anyway, in the near future?
I was actually just talking to Nick, just shooting texts back and forth a few days ago. I think we're just gonna start. I mean, hopefully, if lockdown can get lifted and we can actually go to a proper studio and finish properly recording some of the tracks and properly get more shit done, probably just keep chipping away at the album that we have just kind of on backlog right now. Because I mean, we have like 10 songs for it. We're probably going to make a couple more, and it's like it's there. We just have to finish some tracking guitars and just a few more tracks of drums, and then eventually like put my vocals over it. But I mean, I can't exactly like record vocals in a bedroom because my neighbors are going to scream at me if I'm screaming at them. So
he's getting stabbed again.
Oh my God.
Also, he can't strain himself.
Yeah,
not letting.
There is talk as well. Like we're possibly going to do a. This was before second lockdown kicked off, and it was like you can't be around anyone who's not in your household. We were planning on doing a live stream concert, which we were going to record and release as a live EP, hopefully next year at some point. might be like a live EP, or it might be like a live EP with maybe some remixes at the end or something, just to kind of bulk it out a little. That's kind of primarily, we're kind of trying to keep an eye on what happens with like lockdown and all that, because if this gets lifted soon, then we might not bother with that. But if it looks like, because we don't want, like, it was really frustrating to release an album this year, release recordings this year, and not be able to do a show for it, or even meet up for a photo shoot. In fact, twice this year, we've arranged to do a music video or a photo shoot with you. And on the day that we were meant to do the first photo shoot with you, lockdown happened, and then everything cleared. And then we were going to do the second interview with you, and the second lockdown happened. So
yeah, I think you're starting to. I'm starting to think it's you guys.
It's definitely us.
It's a thing. It's something about the two of us, all of us getting together. But yeah, so we can't even promote anything at the moment. So like, especially with the next album, like we really want to, like we put a lot of work into it, and it's very crafted, and we want to make sure that when that comes out, we're in a position to fully just go for it, like proper music videos, proper live shows. We could try and do a little bit of touring and try and get on some decent bills and stuff like that. But we do want to keep releasing stuff, and we want to keep putting stuff out as much as possible. So if lockdown ends, that'll be out sooner. But if lockdown looks like it's going to drag on, we might do the live EP and that kind of stuff, or maybe even just release a single or something like that. But we want to try and get something out beginning of next year.
Yeah,
again, for sure.
Definitely keep chipping away at the album itself, but if we can't do that, I'm sure, like, if I could speak for all three of us here, it's like if we're not working on music, we kind of start to go a little nutso, a little more batshit. So if anything, you might we're probably going to see like maybe a single or two. Something.
It feels like forever since Your Failure came out, and that was supposed to be leading up to the new album, right? Like,
yeah.
So now we have to think about what to do with that.
Yeah, there's so much stuff thinking about.
Nice.
Cool.
It's quite exciting though. I think the album that's gonna come out next year will be probably significantly different than the album that would have come out this year.
Yeah.
Because we've matured an awful lot in terms of like just kind of how we're writing and how we're approaching stuff, and the way we're kind of building up songs now after doing the EP, which was a totally different creative process, obviously, because you're all doing it at home and just kind of emailing tracks back and forth. And like I said, we all have completely different equipment. So it's
also the time and setting, right? Like everything's changed. A lot more people have reasons to be pissed off, and so do we. So.
Like going back to like lyrical content, it was I had a bunch of lyrics already written for the album. I had a bunch of like the melody written for those lyrics for the album. But after my incident back in October, I kind of took a moment and read all the lyrics through, and then I think I scrapped 90% of all the lyrics, because now I'm just even more pissed off than I ever was. So yeah, if the album came out this year without COVID, it would have been a drastically different, probably a dark tone, but I think whatever comes out next year is going to be insanely dark. Like it's
a little bit more honest with the darkness, because I think we have all had a really shitty year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. No, that's kind of a cool concept. You know, I always ask artists about whether they think this pandemic is going to affect their songwriting, their music going forward. And like lots of people are like, yeah, like it's definitely changed me as a person, which is going to change things going forward. But yeah, like to hear that from yours, like especially if that's the kind of album you had coming up right now, every single human not only like will connect more to that. I feel like who didn't get a little bit of extra pent up anger over this pandemic, you know? So yeah, I'm pretty stoked to hear that once it's kind of rejigged and coming out. So are you guys hoping some point next year, or I guess we kind of have no idea at this point?
We're loosely kind of basing an idea off putting something out in the spring, like probably middle of the spring or beginning of summer, if the COVID gods let us.
Yeah. If we can. Okay, cool. Baz is asking, when you guys do live gigs, do you mix with the fans after a show?
Oh, absolutely. Like I go, the second the show's done, we tear down the stage, go up for a smoke, and then we're right back in the bar just trying to talk with everyone.
Most of the fans are our friends and girlfriends, so.
We don't have fans. We have
one girlfriend each, though. Like.
Yeah, we always go back and hang out with folks in the bars, folks in the clubs afterwards, because why not?
Yeah.
Well, we have like little merch tables set up where we normally sit, and if anyone wants to come up and say hi or buy us a drink.
It's a great community. Yeah.
That's saying good. You can buy it. You can buy it. I guess he'll be at the next one. Yeah, I'm very stoked to see you guys live again too. That's yeah, you guys put on a kick-ass show. For anybody who hasn't seen them live, I definitely recommend it. Cool. And so these conversations have been flying today. Yeah, we've talked a lot about COVID. Can you guys tell me a completely non-COVID fun story, just something about a show or a rehearsal or just something Trick Casket? Do you got any good stories for me?
The last rehearsal we had, I got food poisoning midway through.
Fun.
It wasn't much of a rehearsal, to be honest. It was Connor laying down on the couch.
Positive. I don't have any positive.
That's pretty positive.
It's not a very positive.
Just imagine what's coming up on this next album if that's Connor's version of positive.
I can only think of negative things, even if they're funny.
Oh man. Barry said, "Hope to see you guys in London." Have you guys played London before?
No, we were going.
We had gigs booked there as well, though. But then obviously,
I want to play London so bad. I've been to London, party town.
Nice. Yeah, London could be fun. Have you guys played much outside of Toronto? I know things were just kind of picking up traction.
No,
unfortunately not. We were like you just said, things were picking up. Like we were going to like Ottawa, Oshawa, Montreal, London, fucking Kitchener for some reason. My hometown of Guelph. Yeah, we're just trying to go like all over Ontario as much as we possibly could. Everything was,
I
like,
love your
up.
reaction to Kitchener, Connor.
Well, I mean, like, what's in Kitchener?
He's allowed to. He's from Guelph.
There's nothing in Kitchener. No offense to Kitchener fans.
No, but that's cool. Yeah, so hopefully you guys can kind of get that rebooked. What are you guys' thoughts on that? I've heard some different opinions on how rebooking shows will go once this is all over.
I think the big thing is obviously not going to be the fact that there's going to be a huge demand on venues. So if you have a venue, like I was saying earlier on, if there's like 5 venues that are open in the city, you're going to have every conceivable band, including ones that have started during COVID from people being bored, all wanting to perform live. And the thing about it is, venue owners are going to be able to cherry pick lineups really easily, and it's going to be quite difficult for some bands to get in and kind of like, it's not even one of those things of like the quality of the bands. It's kind of like, say for example, you've got 2 or 3 hip hop artists who might be able to bring in a certain amount of people, but you've got like 2 or 3 rock bands that are really good who'll bring in like this amount of people. You know, it might wind up being kind of a situation of kind of being more difficult depending on your genre to really kind of get out there, which is why I'm very glad there's places like Bovine and Cherries that are going to, they'll predominantly be kind of there servicing kind of the alternative and the rock and the metal communities. But even with them, there's going to be such a huge demand to get in there and play, like book a thing. I mean, it was hard enough to book dates. I mean, you'd be kind of getting in touch with venues saying like, hey, we want to put on a show, and they'd be like, okay, well, my next one is 6 months from now. My next available date is 6 months from now. Right. So obviously, if there's a huge amount of people going for something, unless you're blowing the promoter, you're probably not going to get in, which is what Ryan is for.
Yeah, all Ryan's fault. Thanks, Ryan. They're saying the Fortress in Chatham has been putting on bands. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I guess outside of Toronto, I don't know. I feel like I haven't heard about a whole bunch of shows going on, but I guess there could be a whole plethora of them going on that I don't even know.
Just need to raise money for some bubble suits.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Trick Casket in Chatham and bubble suits coming soon.
I saw House of Haunt. That's another cool band actually rendered. House of Haunt, like the cool horror punk band that we played with a few times. They were doing shows, but it was like they were doing the socially distant shows,
right?
Where people had they had a section they could stand in, and it was all blocked off and stuff like that. But I mean, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? If you can get on stage and play, and and people want live music, and yeah,
House of
they
Haunts got
were
like 7 people though. How did they possibly do that?
Was it?
House of Haunts, don't they have like 7 members?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them just came in over Zoom.
There you go.
Didn't sound very good. They were tonight. They just had to play venues. I think they played out in what's the one at the airports?
What?
The Rock. We played
Rock Pile.
Rock Pile. Sorry. They I think, don't quote me on this, but I think they did a show out there or somewhere around there. It was a pretty big stage, and they were able to kind of. I mean, again, there wasn't a huge amount of people who were able to even get in terms of like the venue was like, okay, we could have like 20 people in here, kind of thing. But it was the best they could do. It was as soon as the kind of things got brought down a bit,
Yeah. Better say no one at the stage, better than nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen one of those shows this pandemic. That was right before things went back into lockdown. And that was definitely I was like, man, I would like I'm so happy hearing live music. I don't have to be up there dancing. Like, just to hear this is pretty nice at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like I would push a nun into traffic just to go to a show again.
I was gonna say we could do like a show like that Niagara strip club did, where they had the tables separate, and then we could all stand on a table.
I'd rather wait until this is all cleared up, so we don't actually accidentally potentially injure or hurt our audience members. Personally, I'd rather wait.
I'd rather like get in shape a bit before we have to do that. And also, some strip clubs are doing strip clubs where drive-through strip clubs, like in a car wash.
Drive-through strip clubs? I've not heard of this one.
Yeah. Just drive-through strip clubs, like be open either side. Just kind of came in as like 20 chicken nuggets, please. Take a laptop at the front of your car. I wasn't really paying attention to the article, but we could do that. Drive-through shows.
We are really in the future. What
a time to be alive.
Yeah. Drive-through Chris.
What the fuck is
drive-through trick casket and strippers.
True Strippers is a good band name.
I like it. That could be once you guys finish off Connor. Nice. Wesley said, refine the craft. I'd say you guys are showing a kind testament what to do with time. Create beauty.
Oh,
thank you, Wesley.
Yeah,
thanks, Wesley.
Nice. Have you guys been up to much aside for playing Doom or making music?
I've been building stuff.
Building stuff? What kind of stuff?
Ryan's been more like actually.
I built a couple speakers, so I made a 112 cab.
Nice.
I built a desk, a new like production desk, and just some like woodworking and stuff. Pretty fun.
Nice.
I've just slowly been accumulating gear over time for when it's go time.
Got a whole room just kind of piling up, waiting for this to be over.
Pretty much.
By accumulating, he means stealing.
I built a few guitars, but nothing interesting.
Ryan keeps building, and they keep taking it, and he doesn't know what happened.
There you go. Nice. Cool. So we're just wrapping up on 7 here. So I'm gonna play your guys' music video for Swine before we finish this off. Nice. Do you guys want to tell us about that song and the visuals you put together for it?
For me, the song was just that one was kind of weird. I didn't have any lyrics kind of written. I was going to. Well, I even had like revisions of like lyrics, but then I was getting frustrated because like it wasn't up to like my standards, and I just couldn't get things right. So then I think just sitting there for like a couple hours trying to write was building more frustration in me, where I just kind of said like, you know what, fuck it, just hook up your mic and just go. Say the first thing that comes to mind, exactly how you feel, exactly what's reflecting, and then that's what came out of it. So that song is just kind of like a reflection of just my grotesque thoughts, and the name Swine just kind of kept popping up in my brain. So I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'll call it that.
Nice.
And the music, I just wanted something just kind of driving, uncomfortable, almost kind of hard to listen to. Like I purposely kind of mixed some elements, especially like in the higher range, If you're not like an audiophile and you have kind of just basic consumer grade headphones, I know since they have very basic EQs in them, that some of the songs, well, mostly all of the songs on the EP are very uncomfortable to listen to. And that was just kind of a reflection of how we're feeling, just drastically uncomfortable, drastically anxious, pissed off.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Nick
gotta
did all the visuals for that, so.
And Nick did the video, right?
Yeah. It's from Fire in the Sky. It's a alien abduction movie with a really horrible scene in it. So I just edited that and threw it in and hope I don't get sued.
Nice.
And it's
Yeah,
kind of
a placeholder, right? Like
Zuckerberg, don't kick us off for playing this.
and it's kind of a cool reflection because if you really think about it, it's like the aliens are COVID and we are that person getting just annihilated.
Annihilated.
Yeah, no, you were saying that the songs are kind of a reflection and it almost makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's very abrasive.
Yeah.
For Halloween actually, like there wasn't anything to do really, so we rented a cabin and went up the middle of the woods.
Oh, sick.
Where there's nobody else there because it's winter time, so everybody's gone from their cabins. But I went for a walk by myself at like 3 a.m. just through this like abandoned forest place and put your album on, and that has been the scariest Halloween I've had for sure. Like
God,
that was the perfect soundtrack to my night.
Holy shit, I love that.
That'll be the new music video. We'll just get you in a forest listening to the album.
Yeah, well, wherever that cabin was, we're going up there to film.
Yeah, we're going there. We're going
there.
there.
And Nick and I will line it up so that somebody gets stabbed.
Perfect.
Guys, wow.
Thanks, guys. Nice. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, you already went over that, but I'll play Swine to finish us off here. I really appreciate you guys coming on the show. Do you guys got any last words or anything you want to say to anybody during these crazy times?
Support local artists. Support every local artist you possibly can. Support your friends. Support your family, and be nice to one another because there's a lot of people just snapping and breaking out there. I noticed that the general populace are getting really, really mean. So. Support each other, support local artists, be fucking
and wear a fucking mask.
Stay safe.
Wear a goddamn mask.
Nice.
Wear
Cool.
a fucking mask.
That's those are all good pieces of advice to end us off here. Thank you guys so much for coming on here. This has been a great conversation.
Thanks, thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.
To see what's coming next. Thank you to everybody who's been tuning in. This episode will be rewatchable at www.quarantinesongs.com. This was Trick Casket. We had the universe featuring Ray earlier. We're going to finish off with Swine by Trick Casket. If you are disturbed easily, this might be a good time to turn it off. But otherwise, everybody have a great night. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Nice.